Hello ladies and gentlemen, Michael Tyler here, welcoming you to another free Vectric project of the month. This month's project is called Off the Wall Faucet Foto Frame, and as you can see, this project holds a small circular photo in kind of an interesting way. Got a water droplet coming out of a faucet, the piping that goes along with it, with a background of a brick wall. All of this was designed and laid out in the Aspire 9.5 software, so it's compatible with 9.5 Aspire and above. The sample was painted with various acrylic craft paints and then glazed overall, except I left the droplet the natural wood color here. And the 3D models and the rail sweep vectors that I used to create the pipes and fittings are included in the Aspire project files if you'd like to use them to create your own custom version of the Faucet Foto Frame. I hope you enjoy the project, and as usual it comes with the PDF file so you can print that out and follow along with the illustrated color photos and step-by-step. And also, as usual, if you want to have a go at making this yourself, you can download the files from your V&Co account, and you can find the link for that below. If you make your own version of this, please feel free to share it on the Vectric forum and even on the social media forums if you like this video. Please give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please subscribe for instant updates on new project videos we release in the future. Again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of the step-by-step video. It shows how the build was done and how the finish was applied. Michael Tyler signing off for now, and we'll see you next month. Happy carving! Okay, I got the cross braces cut, and what I did was I just lined these up basically with the bottom and drew a line across. That gives me a 3/4 inch spacing from the bottom to here, and also same thing on the top, bottom to here. And then I measured across here, found a center point for the back panel, and then I used a square just to extend that center point to the bottom line. So I got the center points marked on each of these cross braces, and I'll go ahead and glue these in place. Alright, I've removed the clamps from the cross braces here, and the glue's all dry, so I'm going to begin the finishing process. And I'll begin with a coat of 50/50 Zinsser seal coat and denatured alcohol, and that will seal the wood and also raise any remaining fuzzies that might be left behind from the carving process. So after I apply this first thin coat, then I will sand it after it's dry and remove the remaining fuzzies, and then I'm going to take a look at it and make a judgment whether I need another coat of seal coat or not before I continue on with the rest of the finishing process. Now this panel, I'm going to apply acrylic paints to it as part of the finish, and then the water drop, I'm going to leave this the natural wood color, so I'm just going to coat this with the thinned seal coat, which is 100% shellac, clear shellac de-waxed, and then I'll apply some light coats of spray clear, Rust-Oleum clear, on the frame water drop. So I'll go ahead and continue on with applying this thin seal coat, and then we'll come back for the next step. Okay, I did decide to apply 2 coats of the 50/50 seal coat and denatured alcohol to both pieces here, and of course sand it between coats. I'm going to leave this natural, so I'm just going to apply some Krylon gloss crystal clear on the frame drop portion and leave it as is, and then on the plaque itself I'll apply the gloss, Krylon gloss, and then follow that up with a final coat of flat crystal clear Krylon. That will give the acrylic paint a little more bite to hold on to. So I use the gloss just to build up a bit of a finish, and then follow it up with a flat as a base for the acrylic paint that I'll be applying later. So I'll apply this gloss to the drop and also the plaque, and only the plaque will get the flat coating, and I'll go ahead and leave the gloss on the drop just to make it look shiny for a water drop. Okay, when I get this done, we'll come back and we'll continue on with the rest of the finishing process. Okay, the Krylon's all dry, so I'm ready to start applying some color to this plaque. Got my assortment of brushes, a bunch of different paints. I'm going to make this sort of a red brick background, but as you know, red brick isn't even color. So I'm going to apply mixtures of various colors, kind of make it up as I go. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, that looks sort of like a red brick color. Maybe a little more brown. Okay, so I'm going to just dab this paint on here. Nothing too exact. I'll leave the mortar free of color there. What I'm going for is sort of that natural variation of color in real brick, and I'm making it a little highlighted here and there just to add some interest. I think I'll get a little bit darker brown here. Okay, we'll let that dry, and then I'll come back and we'll do the pipes and the faucet. I've allowed the brick background to dry, and so I'm going to paint the faucet and the pipes. The faucet, I'm going to use a metallic gold acrylic paint to represent brass, and I'm going to use a silver metallic paint for the pipes, which will represent galvanized pipe. So I think I'll go ahead and paint the galvanized pipe first. Okay, I'm going to let the galvanized pipe paint dry, and then I'll come back and paint the faucet this gold color for brass. Okay, the acrylic paint is all dry, and I'm going to seal this paint with some Krylon gloss, and then finish that up with a final coat of flat crystal clear, and that'll seal that paint against the brown glaze I'm going to apply after the Krylon's finished drying. Then once that glaze is dry, then I'll finish it up with some Krylon gloss and then satin for the final finish. So here we go. Okay, I've sealed the paint with the Krylon and getting ready to apply a dark brown glaze. I'm going to thin it with some water and I'll wipe it on, and then I've got what I call my dirty brushes. So these are brushes that I use that weren't cleaned properly. That was intentional, just to keep the bristles kind of stiff. This one a little bit softer, and that will help me if I need to wipe off the glaze with any of these what I call dirty brushes. Okay, and I got a rag too to kind of wipe down selectively where I need to. Alright, so let's get started. I'll put some of this brown paint on a paper plate and we'll get that thinned up a little with some water. And I'm going to apply this glaze over the entire surface here. And you know, I think I'm going to go ahead and use this big dirty brush just to get it on quickly. Get a little more water in there. You can see I'm just kind of scrubbing it on there. Now you do have to work kind of quickly because the acrylic paint does dry rather fast as the water evaporates. I'm just getting that on there as quick as I can. And again, just sort of scrubbing it on there. Getting it into every little nook and cranny. And along the edges there too. Okay, I think I've got a pretty good coverage there. And now I'll start wiping this off. And some of these tighter places where I can't quite get into with the rag, let's go ahead and use one of my dirty brushes. You can see that really helps enhance that detail and makes it look like an old wall with the pipes fastened on the outside of it. Okay, I'll continue working on this and I'll come back and then we'll put on the final clear coats. Okay, the finish is all dry and I'm getting ready to cut out these patterns that are included with the PDF instructions. So I've got a guide for the photo. I'll cut the outside. That'll be the recessed portion of the drop frame. And then I'll also cut out this inside to help me position where this photo needs to be cut. Now I'll cut the photo the size of this outside line because that will fit in the recess. I'll also use that outside line to cut a cardboard backing. I'll cut it a little bit larger just so it'll friction fit inside this recess. And then also cut the clear plastic sheet to cover the be the first layer to cover the photograph when it's mounted in the frame. So I'll cut these out and mark drill locations on both the platform and the frame itself, and then drill some pilot holes for a screw that'll go driven through from the back to this to hold the frame onto the plaque. I've got my pilot holes drilled. Of course, I was careful not to drill too deep with this pilot hole here so that I didn't go through the front side. So I'm going to drive in this number 6 3/4 inch screw, and just until it pokes out enough where I can see where to line up the frame drop. There we go. And I'll place the frame drop there, line it up with that pilot hole, and drive it home. Okay. So now I just need to drill a couple holes in here and knot some jute through there so that we have a hanger. Okay, I'm getting ready to install a couple of screw eyes in the top of the back brace, and I just made a couple marks 1/2 inch away from each of these edges and approximately in the middle here, and I just used this all to create a couple of pilot holes for the screw eyes, just make them a little easier to screw in. Okay, so I'll go ahead and install the screw eyes, screw them in, and then get back with you and we'll finish up the project. Okay, I cut a length of jute about maybe 13 inches long-ish, and so I'm going to just tie that onto the screw eyes here. And I'll do the same on the other side, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, I've tied off the jute on both of these screw eyes. I also applied a drop of medium CA glue on the knots themselves just to secure the knots and prevent any excessive fraying. And I did have a little excess that I just trimmed off with some scissors there, and that completes the hanging portion of the project. In fact, that completes the entire project. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Michael Tyler signing off for now. We'll see you next month with another free Vectric Project of the Month.